Welcome to Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. I'm your host, Melissa Banks. Thank you for joining us today. I'm excited for this conversation today. We have another amazing woman to share her journey with us and how she's been able to keep going despite the circumstances. Our guest today is Lawanna Bradford. Lawanna is a best-selling author, international speaker, entrepreneur, just to name a few of the things that she does. Thank you, Lawanna, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Melissa, for having me. I'm excited about the show and always good to connect with you.
Absolutely. Lawanna, I want to just start with some accolades. I mean, five-time best-selling author, awarded the 2023 Next Gen Entrepreneur of the Year, 2023 winner of the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. Wow, congratulations on all of that. How does that feel? When I just read that off, how do you feel about having your work recognized in this way?
Thank you so much. It's very humbling, especially the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, because it reminded me of what I've done. You know, I believe that when you're working and moving in your passion, you're not thinking about the recognition that you may or may not get. You're just trying to serve and give it your all, walk in excellence. And for that particular recognition, it was for 4,000 hours of volunteered service to help promote women entrepreneurs. So that it just warmed my heart, you know, to be recognized for that work.
And you're absolutely right. We don't think about that, but then when it happens, I just love that. And I didn't know that what you just shared right then about the 4,000 hours of working for helping women entrepreneurs. That is amazing. And you should just smile every time you say that or look at that award. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Okay, another thing that you do though, and you have the background for this, you've been doing it for over 30 years, and you're a strategic expert, and you have businesses, not just women, I don't believe, businesses and entrepreneurs increase the bottom line. We all love that. And
Yes.
and when I read that, I thought, how do you do that? Tell us some ways that you help other businesses.
Well, the one thing is helping business to realize, I'll give you three things. What lane that you're in, right? So often, especially small business owners, we're in our passion, but your passion sits in a particular lane in industry. So when you understand what that lane is, then you want to become a student of the lane. That's number two. And then you have to understand what differentiating factor within that you have, that unique selling position, that will cause people to lean in and become interested in what you do. But in order for people to first be interested in you, you have to show up and be interesting.
Wow, Lawanna. Okay, you just came in and just dropped some nuggets. You know, people pay for that you just dropped, because one of the things that I learned, and I honestly had been in my business for a long time before I knew how to recognize my lane, and that my lane and my passion could not be the same thing. And that is a hard lesson. And
Yes.
when you said that, I thought, boy, that a hard lesson to find me. And I have to remind myself even now, the one, because you lean into your passion because it excites you. And
Exactly.
sometimes that's not the people that's looking for you, what you get excited about. That is huge. And I know somebody's took some notes on that. So I'm excited about that. Let me just reset. If you're just joining us, this is Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. Our guest today is best-selling author, international speaker, and entrepreneur Lawanna Bradford. Okay, Lawanna, we have something else in common, because you stated that your mission is to help individuals to unleash their untapped potential and empower them to turn their dreams into reality. I know that sounds like me. We definitely have something in common right there. So share with us some ways that you help women to help people to empower themselves and recognize their potential.
I think the first thing is establishing the foundation of belief. Do you believe in you? Do you believe that you were uniquely designed and created for this point in time to make a difference? See, if you don't believe in yourself, then you can't turn around and expect the world to show up and applaud for you. But when you believe in yourself, you become this magnetic attraction factor. And people just turn and look at you because you have so much confidence. You know where you're going, and you're able to guide people to where they're going to go, because suddenly it's not about you. It's about you showing up and filling a critical need that is for you at this appointed time.
Wow, that's powerful. Thank you for that. You know, Lawanna, as an entrepreneur, especially somebody like yourself, You do so many things. You're so smart, and you do a lot. But when we do a lot, oftentimes we get caught up in the rat race, and sometimes we can even feel guilty when we're not caught up in the rat race. How do you manage that when you need to just pull back, take a moment to reflect, to pause, to plan those things that doesn't cause that action, or maybe you just need a moment to sit in and get some encouragement? Talk to us about what you do in those times.
Sure. Well, I'm an individual. I work hard and I play hard. So when, some people, when they go on their holidays, vacations, they still take their work with them. I don't. That's my time to reset, to pull back. But even just during the day, I have what I have start my day with is my meditation time, meditation and prayer. And it is a uncompromised time. Nothing interferes with that time. And it's become so much a part of my routine that I don't have to schedule it. Before I had to actually schedule it on my calendar because I was quick to pick up the phone and things like that. But that allows me to refocus, reset, and even reframe my life. And right now, you and I were just talking before the show began. Last month, I lost my father, and he was my rock, my mentor, my coach, my best friend. And my world is literally turned upside down. And right now I'm trying to find my way in this new world. I don't even want to call it a new normal. It's just a new world. My life will never be the same. And so with that, I unapologetically step back. I pulled back from everything because I knew, number one, I need to be there for family. Number two, I needed to be there for myself. And when I started to come back, even with my shows or lives, I did it from a place of self-healing. I was sharing my journey, and in that it became cathartic for me. So whatever you're going through, especially if you're an influencer on social media or any other platform, you can use your lived experience to be a source of encouragement, hope, and inspiration for others. And so that's literally where I am right now. And being here with you, this is exciting, but it's also a little bit of vulnerability because I've always shown this very strong face of who Lawanna is from a business standpoint. But this is a woman who's broken right now, and I'm learning how to rise up despite the broken heart.
And you know what? That's what this show is all about, Lawanna. You shared your dad with us, and along the journey when he was here with you. So when he left, you shared that with us too. And I thought that was so, so special. And I know that we feel like we have to show up strong all the time. But when you're helping somebody else and you're taking them along the journey, it is empowering to you and help you as well. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with us, because that's what we're all about. Now, I saw something on your Facebook page that I thought, I really like this. And I wonder what gave her this idea. Now, you're calling it a strategic insight. Now, the one I happened to stumble on was your experience with the mini muffins the other day. I laughed. And, I would tell you, I was having a really challenging day, and I was dealing with several different things, you know how we do, and they weren't going well. It was not a good day, but I was still working, you know what I mean? Right. And I come across it, I laughed so hard during that time. I was like, that is so something I would do. But you turn those things around into tips and insights that we may not even think about. What gave you that inspiration to do that?
Well, as I said, this is kind of where I am right now, right? So my mind there's a lot of stuff going on. It's cluttered. There's days where I have laser clarity, but for the most part right now, everything's a haze. And for something that simple, right? I wanted some pumpkin muffins. And I'm literally thinking I'm buying a mix so that I can add my parts to it and create these muffins, not realizing they were prepackaged muffins. And the insane part of it, as you saw, I'm literally looking for where's the instructions? What do I set the oven to? It still didn't register. So after that, I just sat down and started laughing, and I thought, wait a minute, there are so many people who get caught up and get confused, and that mind clutter, that bubble talk gets in the way. And when it's something critical like a contract agreement or maybe it's a decision that we have to make with our family. If we don't operate from a point of clarity, we can end up making the wrong mistakes, right? Putting ourselves in a compromising position. So that's where I thought, oh, wait a minute, I got to come on and I got to do a live about this. It's this little bit is funny, but real world, how many of us feel like we're in a state of overwhelm, but for whatever reason, we feel like I've got to go ahead. I still have to make this decision. You should never make a decision when out of emotions, out of frustration, anxiety, pull back, reset, and then come strong. So that's where that came from.
I love them. I watched several after I watched that one. I thought I really love this because what it does is exactly what you said. It made us laugh because I was killing myself laughing because you were still looking for those directions until you pulled out that little pack. And that was really funny to me. But I got you the insight that you were sharing though. So though it made me laugh, it also taught me something. And several of the other ones that I watched. So I thought that was really, really great. I wanted to be sure we talked about that today.
Thank you.
So is there a challenge in your business that you would like to share with us that you had to face um, as a female entrepreneur and how you were able to overcome it?
Gosh, there's so many challenges. I think the biggest challenge as a female entrepreneur, especially if you're in a male-dominated industry, like strategy, performance management, as well as commercial and investment real estate. Those are my two businesses. They're male dominated. And I felt I had to come in my masculine energy all the time. And I realized, wait a minute, let me just step back and be who I am, show them that I'm credible, that I have expertise and education behind me, and that I have testimonies to prove that I am able to compete, because it is, this male competition world, compete on equal footing with any man in the industry. So I think that was the biggest challenge, is getting to the point where I could be seen and heard as a viable, whether it's a business partner, as a viable contributor in that particular lane, and being able to own who I am and how I want to message myself, and not feel that I have to emulate a man, even though my greatest mentor and coach was my father, and I always want to be like him, but I want to be like him in heart and spirit, not in how he presents himself to the world. Does that make sense?
Oh, awesome. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. What advice, Lawanna, would you give to someone who is listening to you right now and you have been so inspirational, both personally and in business, actually? But they're listening and they have that dream in their belly, but it's been there. They've been too afraid to pull the trigger, just say yes, just get started where they are. Or it's the person who's listening that they did. They tried it, they pulled the trigger, but it didn't go like that perfect plan they had laid out. Then it became hard, and now they're thinking of quitting. But we also have that person who, when it got hard, when they faced challenges, they did quit. What advice would you give to them?
Oh, wow. Okay, that's three people. So one person who's thinking about starting the dream, another person who is in the dream, but maybe is feeling like it's starting to be a nightmare. And then the third person is like, I'm done.
There you go.
I've been in all three phases, but the one thing I've even pulled the trigger, because there is a time when you do need to cut bait, but you need to determine when is enough, because sometimes it's not that the dream is the wrong dream. It may not be the timing. So it's so important first to understand what is it that you want to do, be committed and sold out for that. And then look at the timing in your life. If there's circumstances, life issues, right? Deaths, things like that happen. It doesn't mean that it wasn't right for you. The timing may not be right. But the third thing is, how invested are you? See, if you want to be successful in business, I've been a seasoned entrepreneur for over 30 years. It comes with ebbs and flows. You're in it long enough, you're going to be hit with challenges, possible lawsuits, been there, done that. And you've got to be able to rise up despite what happens. And you have to trust who you are, the team that you have around you, and realize that you are the captain, if you will, of this ship, and you're responsible for navigating it through sometimes very treacherous waters. It's easy to quit. That's the easiest thing you can do. The hardest thing to do is decide that no matter what, you're going to stick to it and you're going to press all the way to that finish line. And I truly believe, Melissa, that when you commit to that, that when your vision intersects with opportunity, that's when success is inevitable. But you first have to decide, you have to commit, and you have to be willing to grind it out.
Wow. I love, love, love that, because I believe when you make quitting an option, that's what you do, because it is easier. So you nailed that. Oh my gosh, right on the head. Thank you for that. I don't want us to wrap up without talking about something else that you do, and that's
Uh-oh.
the TV shows. 3 TV shows. Oh my goodness. Power of the Pen, Choose to Challenge, and Business and Financial Raw Talk. 3 television shows, along with all this other stuff that we do, that you do. Who are the shows for, and what is it that you hope the audience will get from them?
Well, it's interesting. These 3 shows kind of found me. So again, this is just an example. When you're in your passion, 4 years ago, for Women's Entrepreneur Month, the theme was, I'm sorry, Women's History Month, not Entrepreneur Month, Women's History Month. The theme was Choose to Challenge. And so I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to interview women from around the world. I thought I was going to interview only 5 women. God's like, no, I said 5 countries. You're going to interview 21 women from these 5 countries: US, UK, Uganda, Canada, and the Bahamas. And so and this happened to be the centennial of the women's right to vote. Look at where we are in the world right now. And so I parlayed the challenge that women have around the world in voicing their needs and their wants and showing up no matter where they are, whether they're in a democratic state, a socialist country, it doesn't matter. How do you show up? And someone saw these shows that were actually just aired on Facebook. And it was a TV network that came to me and they said, we like this. Would you mind if we air them? I'm like, sure, why not? Well, then they came back and said, we'd like it to be part of our regular programming. So that started my very first TV show, was Choose the Challenge. Business and Financial Raw Talk was actually a Facebook thing that I did because I'm in finance. So wanted to focus on that. And I added that to the network. And then Power of the Pen, I'm an avid reader. So that deals with books and books written by women and for women. So to answer your question, Power of the Pen is a literary program designed to elevate women writers, but also books that are designed to inspire and help women elevate to the best and greatest self. They can be fiction, nonfiction books. The other, Choose the Challenge, challenges all things that prevent us from being who we were intended to be. My very first guest, official guest after this run, was George Floyd's uncle. So I go that deep, from sex trafficking, just domestic violence, anything again that's challenging women, and being willing to talk about it. And then the third, Business and Financial Raw Talk, is for those business owners, entrepreneurs who are willing to push the envelope on the traditional way of doing business and bring in new innovative ways to think about business and execute business. So that's the idea, concept, birth, and who the reach is for.
Oh, that is absolutely amazing. So this has been such a great conversation, from excitement to your journey to where you are now. What is it that we can look for next from Lawanna Bradford?
Oh, well, definitely more of my shows, my TV shows. So you can follow me on e360tv.com, all things social media by my name, Lawanna Bradford, or my website, The Lawanna Bradford. But I think the thing that I'm most excited about, Melissa, is my dad and I during the pandemic started to write his memoir, but we did it through a video journal. So I have probably 40 hours of video footage of me and my dad just talking about his life's journey. And so now, and I wanted to have it published while he was alive. And he told me, and I didn't understand it then. He said, no, you have to wait because I need you to write the final chapter. And I'm like, okay, we're going to write it together. He said, no, you're going to write it. When he passed, I understood what he meant. I had to take it all the way to the end. And so that is where I'm focused on. My goal is to have it published on or before Father's Day of next year. And it's called A Little Boy from Mayview. My dad came from a town of 250 people, population 250, and rose to be a man of great global influence. I mean, he's a very, very powerful man, but a very humble man. And I just want to talk about that journey of resilience, of overcoming some horrific things in his life and in his childhood, to being a man of just empathy, compassion, but also brilliance.
Oh my gosh, you definitely have to come back, Lawanna. When that's ready, you have to come back and talk to us about that. Thank you again for being here. This has been just amazing for me, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as me, and all of our audience will enjoy it as well. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much. And I have a special gift for our audience, a digital edition. We have a business in action magazine, which is just filled with tips and tools and strategies for you in business. It's not packed with ads. It's really content. And if you're interested in that, I'll make sure that you can share it with your audience. And again, it's free to you. And it's just my thank you to you, Melissa, for letting me share a little bit of my journey on your platform.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so thoughtful. We definitely came out on the high end on this one. You shared so much from the heart, and it's been absolutely amazing. Thank you again for being here. And
Thank
thank you
you.
to our audience for joining us today for Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. I'm your host, Melissa Banks, saying all your dreams are possible. Believe in yourself, work hard, and don't quit. Until next time, thank you for choosing Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. Go have an amazing day.